Paso.
Podcast.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Paso Podcast. Hello to everyone listening on KNCE or those who subscribe on their favorite podcasting app to this free series. We are well into the 60s of our episodes and happy to bring back a guest we've had before. And as always, I'd like for them to introduce themselves, but I'm very excited about all the information we'll share with you today. Would you like to introduce yourself? And thanks for being here.
Yeah. So my name is Christina. I'm the coordinator for Children's Trust Fund, which is known as Taos Loves Kids in the community.
Wonderful. And Taos Loves Kids is known for having calendars about twice a year, I would say, and correct me if I'm wrong, that are blue. This current one has a butterfly on it and says Taos Loves Kids at the top, and a list of classes, and maybe some of them are groups, but you can clarify that for us today. And what they are is, how would you describe what these are?
So what we offer under Taos Loves Kids is a variety of parenting classes and two groups, one for teen parenting and one for grandparents raising grandchildren. These classes are pretty much, most of them have a curriculum such as Circle of Security, Love and Logic, and Nurturing Parenting, and then we put together the other ones, which is Parenting with Emotional Intelligence.
So it's a wide variety of topics that are covered, and even as I'm looking at this calendar that we're going to discuss here now, and hopefully some of you listening will want to take advantage of these or tell friends, I recall it could have been the last time we spoke on this podcast that you kind of revamped some of the offerings for the community, which is to benefit of everybody. And at the time, there were some new things like teens was one, and then fathers is another. And I see that the fathers classes are expanding. There's even one in Spanish. And we'll get into the exact dates and such in a minute, but it seems like the intention here is to offer a wide variety of curriculum-based supports for people raising young children in Taos that may give them some new ideas, some new answers, some new perspective on how to do that difficult job.
We made a few changes. I think one of the biggest ones was offering it from prenatal up to age 18. So that pretty much allows everybody in the community to engage in services. All our services are absolutely free. We made sure that everything we were offering in English was going to be offered in Spanish as well. That's where the classes where you see the Nurturing Parenting Fathers in English, then you have one in Spanish. And we kind of try to do it once a quarter to have a Spanish class available for the community. So that changes every quarter. And our schedule is broken up into two quarters. The first quarter starts January to May, and then August to December.
Awesome. And so as we are entering into and beginning 2022 here, we will obviously be discussing classes that will occur between start dates of January 18th with Circle of Security on down through into May, as you mentioned. And so, it looks like there's two Spanish classes. Would it be okay if I just kind of read one of them and you just shared whatever you'd like, a little summary of what the topic is?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So the first one here is Circle of Security, and we'll repeat this, but it'll be held Tuesdays from 5:30 to 7, so an hour and a half, starting on January 18th, and a series of 8 occasions. So Circle of Security, it doesn't mean how to prevent someone from jumping in your window.
So Circle of Security is a secure attachment curriculum. And what that looks like is having awareness of the circle that you provide with your child. So being the hands for your child in their circle, the interactions that they have, not only with yourself, but with the outside world. And so it's learning how to be with them in that circle. That time when they disengage and they explore, top of the circle is going out to explore, separating. Middle of the circle is delighting in your child, connecting. Bottom of the circle is bringing them in, not because they need to feel supported, but they just want to reconnect, And so it's learning that circle, and you're the hands within that circle. And how are you able to handle or hold your child through that circle? What works for you, what doesn't? A big part of Circle Secure is shark music and learning what triggers us and how that looks of how we parent our child within that circle.
Yeah, wonderful. Circle security. And it just kind of reminds me about the wonderful part about all of these opportunities is that you are encouraged to bring who you are to that event. It's not to say we all need to do exactly the same thing and this is how you do it, right? I mean, that's what I even hear you mentioning that.
Yeah, so Circle of Security, you are the expert of your child. And so Circle of Security is a way to see where that attachment is and that circle with your child already. None of these classes are because something's failing. The classes are available to give you, different ways of parenting, if that's what you're looking for, brainstorming, supporting other parents. So it gives you an opportunity to just learn different ways and techniques. Nobody's perfect parent, and that's okay. And we don't expect that. We just want to support where you're at. And if you're ready to make changes, that's an opportunity as well.
Wonderful. So that's Circle of Security, and thank you for that. Next, we have Nurturing Parenting Fathers class. No idea what that is. I don't know.
So this is a new class that we actually wrote into our new 4-year contract, which we're really excited about. And it is such a great class, space for fathers in the community to be able to come together and have a space for themselves to talk about what parenting looks like for them. Yeah. So it's not cookie cutter. It is very similar to most of what we like to offer, which means that, most of our facilitators have the capacity to meet the families where they're at and try to support them with what they're looking for.
Yeah, and I must say I am honored to be the lead on that Nurturing Parenting Fathers class. I think the reason I was excited to get involved, I guess it's 2 cycles ago now, was because I'm a father. I've been a father. I'll be a father again. And I recognize that as a father in Taos, living here for 9 or so years, that there aren't many opportunities where I have been involved speaking about being a father with others, let alone whatever the topic is. So what I found in this class, the Nurturing Parenting Fathers class, and again, all of these are free, is that it is a real opportunity to simply just, I don't have any hair, but let your hair down and just be honest and share some thoughts and get feedback from other peers and refer to the curriculum that might have some good tips, which it often does. And it's a great opportunity, in this case, for fathers. So that's the Nurturing Parenting Fathers class. And I'll mention that is also going to take place in Spanish in the following month. The Nurturing Parent will be through Feb, and in March will be a Spanish version for Spanish-speaking fathers as well.
Correct. And so we thought it was important to offer it in Spanish. And it is a new facilitator that we brought in as well. So not only are we making changes to what we're offering in the community, we're also making changes to the facilitators who are out in the community, offering this classes. So we have such a great diverse group of facilitators. And one of the new ones is Jose, who's going to be offering this class in Spanish. And so, we just really understand the importance of having somebody in the community who can relate to you.
Yeah, these are community members leading these events for other community members, which is great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
EQ class in Spanish is also coming up. That'll be in February. And EQ, is it an emotional EQ, or how would you describe that?
Yeah, parenting with emotional intelligence is how do you support your child during their emotions? Because it's really easy to be with your children when there's these, happy, good moments. But how do you support them in the difficult times, when they're having their moments? And so EQ is such a great curriculum or put, something that the community really has embraced. And we've been offering it for, I think, since Taos Loves Kids started way back in 2016, but this is actually going to be the first time we offer it in Spanish within our grant or in the community, is my understanding. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, that's great. And just to clarify, there's so many options here. People can sign up for more than one, right? Because I imagine they don't overlap or rarely do.
Yes. So if you are interested in taking more than one class and the schedule works for you, you're more than welcome to register for any of these. And these are open for registration already, even though the last one, like you said, is in May. But we're already registering families for Love and Logic, which is our last class of this quarter. So yes, please know that you have the ability to register for more than one class if that's what you want to do for this quarter.
Great, thank you. So moving down the list, we also have nurturing parenting skills for families. Nurturing parenting is a phrase that was used previously for the father's class, but I guess this is a similar approach of being how to be a nurturing parent or caregiver within a family, but maybe for the entire family.
Yeah, so this one in particular is more generic, basic skills, so it's not catered specifically to a group. And, there's so many options under the nurturing parenting curriculum that we can pull from. So, this is one of them that we just wanted to open up a class for anybody who wanted to just kind of get the basics of parenting, just support in general. So this is a new one that we are offering this quarter.
Cool. Nurturing parenting skills for families. And next is nurturing parenting childbirth prep class. So is this mothers who have children in utero, essentially?
Yes, so it's for pregnant families. And we are offering 6 classes now. So there was an interest in having more information on postpartum. Because most of the classes pretty much start from the beginning through laboring, and feedback was that they wanted just a little bit more support on postpartum, so we added another class. So we're excited about that, and we're actually collaborating with another agency in town to be able to put this together, the 6th class, which is the ROAMS program.
Awesome.
So I think it shows too, when you listen to the community, things can happen.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I was actually thinking Rome's before you said it, so that's great that that's connecting there. Okay, next we have Love and Logic class, which is something you mentioned, but I don't know if it's possible to say, how would Love and Logic be a little different than nurturing parenting or whatever comes to mind?
So Love and Logic, the way I think of it is, it's very... I think Circle of Security, Love and Logic, and a lot of these classes connect each other in the basis of how to support, the age as the child ages. Love and Logic is very, talks about time ins. It talks about following through, setting very clear boundaries. So it really goes hand in hand within your circle of security, where it starts with your baby and recognizing the circles and that foundation that you start with. And then Love and Logic just is kind of like that sibling that comes in after that, kind of then walks you through the next stages of that child's age. And that's, when you're ready, how do you set those clear boundaries? How do you, follow through with discipline in a very loving, empathetic way? Absolutely.
And I relate to that right now because I have a child who's about to be 3. And although I've had other children who've gone through that stage, it's always a reminder of, new person, new kid. Even if you have the same parents, it's always a challenge. And you do have to kind of, I guess, find something that's going to work for you as a family, but is also tailored to that child based on what works. And it's not easy for anyone. So teen parenting group, I think that's wonderful. And this looks like this is also a collaboration perhaps with Taos High School?
Yes. So the teen parenting group is actually being offered at the grads program at the Taos High School. And the groups are once a month. And Monica, who is the facilitator for this group, meets the group there at the high school. And the reason why that's happening is because we realized it was very hard for them to really engage after they got out of school. They're teenagers. So the biggest thing was learning how to support them. And we had to meet them where they're at. And this just made sense because they were already getting together in the grads program. And we worked with Camille, who runs that program, who was very excited to bring us on and be able to support these teen parents and, just talk about, I think it's a group, so it's not really a class, but Monica really does bring in a lot of the curriculum that we use, like such as Circle and EQ and Love and Logic, to just provide support for the girls and do little activities. So it's been very successful, and it's actually worked really well to meet them where they're at. And they are very excited, and they show up, they commit, and they really connect with Monica. So it's been really successful.
Awesome. Yeah, Monica's great. Grandparents raising grandchildren, which is very important, and it looks like it's going to be determined as far as a date, but that'll meet once a month as well for grandparents who may be raising grandchildren and interested in enrolling in that.
Yeah, our grandparents raising grandchildren's facilitator retired in December. And so starting this year, we're trying to figure out what that's going to look like for us. There is another agency in the community who is also offering grandparents raising grandchildren's group. And so I am in the process of trying to figure out what's going to benefit the community instead of creating another group, being able to collaborate with Las Cumbres, who is doing this other group. to refer the families in the community to attend that group, because I'm trying to really, and this is in the works, is to be able to offer it inside the Pueblo. That's something that I'm working with one of the agencies in the Pueblo to see if that's going to be able to happen. So we will continue to offer it, but it's going to be inside the Pueblo with a grandparent who is native who will be able to offer it in their language to the grandparents in the Pueblo. And so that's something we're still working. It hasn't been completely put together, and it's to be determined because we're not sure if it's really going to happen, with COVID and all the new stuff coming out.
Definitely. And at the same time, as COVID continues to challenge us all, not simply doing what you've always done sometimes leaves things in flux. And I think it's really a credit to you and your decision-making to not only have so many collaborations, but also say, hey, we're willing to adapt. We're willing to move. We're willing to see what, just as you said, what's going to serve the community best. And so I think that's a wonderful thing. And for all of these amazing opportunities, now in January through May, and then, of course, they'll start again in the fall, they can call you, Christina, to register. Is that right?
Yeah, and they can call me directly. Like I said, all classes are open for registration. The number they can reach me at is 575-751-8904. I do have an email. It's cportillo@taoshospital.org. I'm in the process of actually updating our information on the Holy Cross Hospital website.
Yeah.
And so if anybody clicks eventually on the programs page, Children's Trust Fund will be a separate program under that, which will then have all our facilitators with little bios. Wow. To get an idea before, engaging in any of the classes, if you want to just read a little bit about each facilitator, all our upcoming classes should be hopefully listed on there as we're changing them. So yeah, a lot of new stuff is coming. It's exciting. We have been growing the program, and I think this year is going to be just better than before.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Christina. And this is a series of opportunities free to all families with children 0 to 18. And once again, you can call Christina or email her. The number is 575-751-8904. We also have these on the blog at pasotaos.org in case you forget. So thank you again, Christina, for all of your hard work and setting all this up for our community in a free and amazingly accessible way. And thanks for sharing with us this upcoming series.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the time.
Paso a Paso Podcast.